Okay, what this is this is representing the 86th system. This is the fallen light system. This is going to be your 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. Your 88. You can see the 88s there stacked on top of each other. This is using everything that science would say is truth in this existence at sea level on the level flat Earth. This not only proves that the Earth is flat, which it is, but this is also going to go ahead and prove the idea of an eternal light and a light that drives the so-called intelligence of this place. And I'm going to prove that by igniting that eternal flame right there in that window. Alright? This eternal flame is proven by science of this place and this fallen world, okay? There's nothing for you to contend with. I'm about to show you truth and reality that you can go ahead and redo yourself. Alright, so anyone who contends with this is actually you're missing the point. This is a proven fact now, and this is using all of your science to prove something I've told you over and over is the truth. And I've gone out of my way now to show you this is real. Now this is going to represent the fallen light, and you'll represent it by, it's going to be represented by what looks like the X or a V sign in the mirror. Understand? Okay. Now I'm going to drop this. These are 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to drop this 6 from a height of 9 areas. So that's your 69 bell ring. As soon as those 4 notes. So then let's just say this. I'm sorry. And God said, "Let there be light." All right. So let there be light. 4 syllables. That syllable, boom, spoken. There's going to be a delay of a certain amount of time, and then that time is what I consider the amount of time it has to go out and then to come back to the echo, to the crossing. And then you're going to see this whole system kick into, the eternal flame will kick on, and this will run forever. This is real, man. So this is proof positive. If your guru can't do this, you might want to go ask him who they speak to. For me, it's just Jesus Christ. I put my faith in him. He gave me the comforter, which is just his mind. You know, I'm the same guy, but I put his mind to work, and he shows me this. I'm able to see it, understand it, able to then present it to you, and to show you that this is then real. So then you have to ask yourself, if your guy can't do this, who are they listening to where they can't do something this basic? Okay, so let me show you what lights up the life of this world. Alright, so I'm about to do an experiment here as well. Okay, and I'm going to do it for 2. Okay, so as soon as we do it, I'm going to drop it, and then this is it. This is the tone of this universe. Okay, you notice that? These are going to now, these are the 4 syllables I told you about, the squared circles. As soon as they come into tune, there, you have the eternal flame will kick on. Okay? Now that then, if you wanted to move that over for a perspective, would then be this. Okay? You see what I'm saying? That would be the intelligence of this world. So then, as you understand this, this now has a tone, and I'll go ahead and put the saved file down below somewhere to where you can get it. And then that tone would be able to be recreated in the so-called stock market, in movies, TV shows, anything like that. You can see right there is the Christmas tree idea, okay, right there, the Christmas tree. Then here is the side reflection. Remember, I've been talking to you about that, the planes of space, okay. Now this is order out of chaos. You can see the Christmas tree right up there, right in this area, the Christmas tree. I'll zoom it in on the Christmas tree. Okay, that area right there. So anyways, this is the fallen system at work. This will never go out. So now I've proven this to you. I'm not quite sure what else to tell you. You look to the light of the world, you get the green man concern. Alright? And then let me show you where this shows up. This shows up in the $2 bill, which I noticed. I went down and I turned it, being that I've noticed people have looked at these flat. But when I turned it like this, I'm trying to cover, make sure you can't, there you go. I saw what looks like a guy playing a piano from the back, almost like a demon. Just kind of the angel in the whirlwind. And in order to show you that is in fact what I saw, right there you can see his head, almost like an Iron Maiden type of album cover. So I turned and rotated this. Anyways, I'd like to go ahead and show you the 1776, the spirit of 1776. I'll show you 3 distinct spiritual type ideas or entities. First being the idea of death. You can see it if you look all the way back. This will be the skull, and then these 2 long planes here. Please look at this from a distance. Will make your skull and crossbones. Okay, with the idea of the above being the arch above, and then the idea of the sacred heart being the crown. Now going into that picture, you can then see that this plane makes a mustache. Below the mustache you can see the mouth, you can see the chin, you can see the nose, the eyes, the eyebrows, and then the face would be right in this area. This would be making up what looks like a hat, to where you can almost see through it to the dome of the head. That would then be your Lucifer character. Alright, I'd like to show you, much like on the picture. Oh, also I'd like to show you this area. Think of the Liberty Bell. Do you see that shape? That's the shape that would go to the top of a bell. This would then be the bell hanging. Of course, Lucifer Bang Bang is the fallen heart. Do you see that heart right up there? Alright, now let's look into his chin, which is just like on that pet goat movie. There's another entity in the chin, isn't there? You'll see it here. There's going to be the eyes, 1 eye, 2 eyes bright. As you can be a nice X nose, a nice devil's mouth with a devil's goatee. I'll pull it back and you can see that the devil, of course, is in the details there. You can see him looking right at it, right there. Okay, that's his face. Alright, and you can see it's the 3. Alright, so you have the one that contains the 3, and now you want to find the woman, or the 2, or the concern. She's easy. Her legs are here. That's between her legs, our opening, or the opening into the world of concern. She's laying back. That would be her chest area, her arms back, and her head being yet another heart. And you can see that would then be the woman laying back in the 3rd dimensional space. And you can see that is on the 3rd plane. The 2 into 3 leading into death. Pull that back and you can see it plain as day right there, with a devil-like feature or creature shadow looming over the top, almost reminiscent of a Rosemary's Baby in a way. You also have another dualistic womb, ovaries picture here representing the reproduction system. Alright, so anyways, that's that, and that's what's on the $2 bill when you spin it, and that is what is the 1776 code. And I found that again by taking my bill and turning it, taking a picture, of that hole, I lit it up, took a picture of the hole, then spun that image, and it created this. And that shows you everything you need to know. All right, to free yourself of the system, just put your faith in Jesus Christ and be out. You're given the Comforter, and you're given the truth of all things. Have a great day. So then in conclusion, you can see right there in the back left, Satan, Saturn, the bell ringer is right there with his hat. I've gone over that with my 911 Echo. I just took a basic $2 bill, I folded it into 3/4 because that seems to be the number they like. And then you saw the result of that. It's all about numbers, colors, and creating codes, man, that will make stories you believe. Okay, hi. I'd like to explain this as quickly as possible so that you know it. These are going to be lines. This is going to be each one of you. Every one of us is perfection, a perfect line. Okay. At a point in time, as we all know, what's known today as Eve, as you can see, that's the perfect line of God coming down, was plucked. Okay, that means that Eve was plucked, or the sound she made by talking to the serpent was captured. The sound was then captured, and then do you understand when I say captured? Because it's a mirror, so it's going to be, so the positive side is going to be positive, and then flip to positive, negative to negative. So keep that in mind. Okay, so on this side we have what Satan built was a cube, cubed, and then you notice here there's a V, and either way you flip it, there's a V, and that's the contact point. Well, you got to understand the contact point is missing now out of this equation, which means that your connection to God is corrupted. All right? Now, God, and you can read this in the Bible, that God caused enmity between his seed and thy seed. All right? So that's the enmity in this line. That's the sin. All right? That's just a string pluck. Now here is the devil's input on the positive, negative, the poles. Okay? And you'll see that's his tune. And these are rings. Okay? Now if you imagine, you're going to have to, from the cube, which is the captured mind, your mind's captured by this thing, there'll be rings around here that keep you from coming into tune with God. So continuing, if you're in tune, you would flip these and you would have a seed pod. Like if you folded that in 3 dimensions, it would be, it's not a heart, it's like a little seed pod. And you're a new creature in Christ, which means you're reborn and you're put back on your line and you're told to wait and to rest and to be easy. But a lot of people still, because you have a very big, you are not, anything you want to know, God will show you. So then, of course, you can, by that free will, go out and look at this stuff, all these out of tune lines that the devil's corrupted, and then you'll get stuck into that. Now, on the Adam side, this is how this works. You do the same thing. You go ahead and flip it, and you'll have damn, right? Because you just flip these two, right? Well, this is the positive side, so it stays the same. And then this would be the negative side. So it flipped, it got split during this process. Do you see that? So it got split, pow, caused the enmity. So then that flipped it. So you got damned, all right? Because the A is a split seed, okay? So then that is corrected by Christ through just his grace alone. You're put back on your place and then told to wait. Okay? That's how that happened. It's just that the devil just knocked everybody off their tune, right? By just plucking the heartstring of Eve, right? And then that through wanting to know what? Lies of Satan. You don't want to have to, there's nothing he has to tell you. It's all lies. So jump back into Christ, which is love, which is not this lovey-dovey nonsense. It's this. It's full redemption and safety. All right? Be blessed. Okay, so within this environment here, I've created what would be the same thing as is the CERN chamber, which is going to be nothing more than bouncing light. In this case, I have red, green, and blue. Red being in the first position, green second, blue third, and then at the end or the target, I have the gold or the yellow. Okay, and that's the target. Speaking of gold or yellow, all of these then are the mass and density of the target material, which would then be gold. Okay, the rest is just to show you movement. I'm going to go ahead and follow this guy, the blue, which is going to be actually the third ball in the system, starting from the left, going from left to right, being 1, 2, 3, the target or the door being the 4. I think you'll find this interesting. Down here I have speed and acceleration for each of the 3. Then I have speed and angular velocity with speed and velocity, and speed and momentum for the target. And that's to show you some interesting results. This, of course, being in the area of the flat earth sciences, right? So anyways, let's fire off our CERN. Oh, and just so you know, so how you know how this CERN chamber works. This, if I showed you, it would be, think about, let's say, magnets. It's going to be directing these single molecules, which are all at the same density. Okay? They're confined in a chamber with no way out other than the direction I'm sending. Okay? They will be moving at terminal velocity, whatever the velocity of this chamber allows. Okay? And then these have been set to zero friction. That means they will not then be slowed whatsoever by this confinement. They will in fact slip right down the tube without any interference. So this would be then creating what is called a vacuum environment. Alright? And fire it. I'm going to fire it at full speed first, just so you can see how quick it is. Then I'll slow it down for you, because you will see something interesting here. Alright. Shoot. Okay, first thing you noticed was that blue went into chaos first, green went into chaos second. 1 is still slowing down. It's way up there. The speed and angular velocity of the yellow, which was the target, which moved, as you noticed, from position 4 to position 1. Okay, what else did you see? You notice that what used to be in position 3, the blue, is now still in position 3. The green, which was position 2, is in position 2, and what was in position 1, or the red, has now switched to position 4. That being the 1-4, or the 14-7, or the Lucifer's gate idea. Looking then at the center, at the idea then of the light created, that space is then the area of interest. Okay? Notice this guy right here, the red man, the number 1. I think you'll find this very interesting. Okay? Okay, what I've done is I've slowed down the simulation speed from 100% or real speed to just 0.4% or 0.40% of that speed. I'm going to go ahead and show you this angular velocity and speed, because this, before I show you the green man or the red man idea, you know, the red green man, that goes into the same idea, the 1 2 3, the 1 2 making the 3, the 3 3 making the 6 or the cube, the 6 into the 8, the 6 cube corners having the 8 points. Okay, so please keep an eye on this, and I'm going to fire it again at the slower speed. Go. Okay. So then you see the same setup we were talking about. You see this happens first. The blue is the first one into tune or chaos, bringing the rest in with it. Notice this though. In fact, I'm going to bring it up to in fact slow it down, I should say, a little bit once it comes into tune. Once the red comes into tune, thus making the machine or the red man. And in fact, I'll bring that up so when you do see it come into tune, you'll see the structure I'm talking about. Here's 100%. So it comes in faster. Notice here that this is the snake eating its tail. This is do you notice it goes back and forth? It's not actually going anywhere but back and forth on this line. And I'll get to the numbers being that they are the numbers of the deception. This is the snake eating its tail. This is the infernal loop I talk about. This is the Jacob's ladder being lit. This is the eternal flame. This is the fallen light. Do you see now that this has created the planes I have talked to you about in the past? And right in the center is the man, his legs, his arms, his head. That would be then the idea of the green man, in this case the red man, the idea of the man of the earth. Okay? Now the green man would then be the fallen idea or spirit, which this guy then wants to inherit, and then that would be the idea of this, the fallen spirit of this, and now this would be the green man, or the idea of concern of ISIS. Let me move down this so you can start to see it, and you'll see it in there. Now you'll start to see it in this area, the stars being formed. Okay? You gotta get it right at the right section. There you go. And now you can see them being formed in there. Okay? And that's going to be the fallen spirit idea. If I smooth it out, it's going to be the left and right brain, the idea of fighting yourself, you know, always in contention with yourself, because this is a fallen idea. So then, once again, if I show you, slow this way down, okay? Notice it's creeping along the bottom, right here, and it goes back upon itself, moves forward. This is a radiance of a circle now. Remember that. We're talking about it going around in a circle. And then to its max potential before it feeds back onto itself. Okay? We're right at 6. Now we're at the 7. Then feeds back into itself to remain for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9, 10 is the extra 2. Okay? That didn't make that loop over. So you can see that this machine just doesn't end, right? Just flips back and forth, and also, as you can tell, as far as time goes, you're looking right in to the area of time, right there between the 23, right there into the death. Now I want to look into more of this green man idea. This green man idea, yellow concern. This is you look to the light of the world, you get the green man concern. Alright? And then let me show you where this shows up. This shows up in the $2 bill, which I noticed. I went down and I turned it, being that I've noticed people have looked at these flat, but when I turned it like this, I'm trying to cover, make sure you can't, there you go. Okay, so the point of this experiment is to take these 4 colors, which represent 4 individual molecules, okay, of light or of matter. I have blue, green, that isn't labeled, oops, that's supposed to be yellow, alright, and that would be position 4. So we have 1, which is red, 2 blue, 3 green, 4. I'm not going to collide these. I'm actually going to go ahead and send them down this tube, which is a vacuum tube, which is delineated by the 2 surfaces, as you can tell. These are directly in that area. And what I'm going to do is send these down this tube and have them gain as much speed as possible. And then to see, with nothing more than speed and the naturally occurring force, see what happens to these 4. See what happens. Alright, go. Creating the arc. Leveling out. Now you're going to see slowing down when you see your speed and velocity come together and rest at a point. This is not done yet. This is just beginning. We're just now getting started. A little instability right now. You can see a little instability in the system. The machine's starting to shake a bit. We're starting to go into a serpentine pattern here. That's going to change. Okay, now we crossed over right at 37.9 area, right before the 3/8. Okay, here I'm just going to go ahead and talk over what I did in this video. As you can see, the serpentine pattern is beginning with, but that's going to change into a sawtooth pattern, which is very interesting. If you recall the sawtooth, going back to the Twin Peaks idea of the saw blade and the 9/11 tone, disaster tone or destruction tone, if you recall. You also see that we're now to three colors, 2 colors combined, the red and blue combined into 1 color. All right, We're moving up the ladder there. So then it looked like right around the 9/11 mark is where you had your combination of the first two colors. Okay? I'm going to jump forward to show you what's... Okay, here's where you see the stair stepping starting, or the sawtooth. The idea of the sawtooth, the tone change. Okay? And you can see that we've combined now into just two colors. The sawtooth is becoming more defined. The bloom, that's the beginning of the death cycle. I was just smoking the system. Anyways, I'm going to speed this up because this will not stop. We're not close to the end until I lose my force, until this line converges to the other side. Here, just bringing it in to show you that stair stepping. And then that's going to go ahead and converge into a single straight acceleration of speed, or angular momentum, I should say. The momentum will be in a straight line. Okay, moving forward. These two will now collapse into line, like this one is. Into line, into line, into line. These two are starting to stutter step in towards the center line. Okay? That means that's, in this case, that's talking about force. The force is then going to go ahead and converge. Alright? Because as you're talking about that will come to a point, and then that will be stability of speed. This is just several ways to look at the same thing. Because now we have a single mass instead of four. Things are into a single mass. Let's look at that. Okay, so with this you can see now that I've sped it up just to save some time. You'll see that now this is down to the 2:1. It looks like it's sometimes two, but it's just the one color now. It's just the speed of this thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end and get the max speed for this experiment. All right. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men. Okay, so going back to the four, it's northeast, southwest, winter, summer, spring, fall. The idea for the first time around the track, but it's going to be on the flat plane. It's going to be looking at a map or at the game piece. Remember, as you create the four, or the dalet, at the tip of the cursive writing, at least within the Hebrew, you're going to have the ego at the top corner, or the two position. Just keep that in mind for me. That top corner, that two position. Alright? Just as an idea. Just remember that for me. Okay, so jumping from the four, where you're creating a world, and then the five, the man, woman, concern, why they want to jump in there. You need to create a universe to create or to sustain the running man. Where's he going to go if there's no information? So you create the 6, the wall, the hook, the wall, the watcher. Give them what? Give them something to walk on, go into, to dig into. All right? Within the star, you have the pentagram, the pentagon. Within that, you put on top of that the hex. As you can tell, not only is the 6 the cube, but it's also the wheel. Just by putting the red around it, you can tell it's also a wheel, or the cycle. Moving forward, also, if you're talking about 3D planes, so okay, back to this the 2D plane on flat surface. Nothing. You just have an open space. That's one region, right? That's just one area. With one line, you have 2 because you have a beginning and an end. With 2 lines, you have 4 regions because you have 4 spaces. Think of, just put a cross or an X. There's 4 places, right? When you're dealing with 3, you then move into 7 spaces, which is interesting on the 2D plane. Do you see that? But now we're talking 3D because you can stand up, sit down, fall down, climb a tree if you want to. All right? So there's an 8 in there and a 9 because you have to count the rest of it. There's the other vertices. So then talking about what's the difference with 2D, you have you end with the 7 on 3D. So then on one plane you have 2 regions because the front and back. 2 planes you have 3 or 4 depending. Let's just say if it was perfect parallel, it would be 3, but slightly off, or randomness, i.e. real, it would be 4. So we'll just stick with that. 3 planes, you are going to go into 8. You can't cut those 8 up because you would have to be coming from 0 space, so you can cut only 7. So that 1 is then left hanging. That's the 1, 7, 7, or 8, or the idea of a space, an infinity loop. Planes, 3 planes connected together. These planes are, this is your mind. Everything is your mind. Everything is what you think is real. If you think something is real, you are going to react as if it's real. If you read or hear the news and you think that that story is real, your body will, in fact, regardless of what you think, positively react to that story being real. And it's a lie. So then, if you notice when you put the 3 planes together, you create 2 spaces. And if you're familiar with, I'm going to add it in right here. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and blend in the Kabbalah Tree of Life, as it's called, merely to show those interested the idea of this tree. It's the image I have now is in the flipped reverse position to show you how it's portrayed in this reality, with the right side being the positive or the engaged side, the false love side, because the 7 position, which would be at here in green, as you can see there, I don't get too involved with the names. It's just think of an idea, just keep it easy, don't worry about all the names. They just try to give you all this stuff to confuse you. This is going to be real easy now, right? I'm going to take this away and just talk about just in regular words now, without all the superstitious and all the nonsense, all right? Say bye to the chart. Now let's talk about the idea of 6, or building the above and below. As is above, so is below. This is the idea of gravity, heaviness, velocity. Think of the story, the breaking news. What's the latest? Oh, that's heavy, man. You know what I'm saying? So what you're doing is, as you notice, you take a system that was working and you corrupt it. And that's what you see here, which is the corruption. If you look at the top, you see the 1, 2, 3 in the red, the 4, 5, 6, the 7, 8, 9, the 9 being the foundation. Where is your foundation? Is it in Jesus Christ, or is it in the world? The world being death. Death is 6 flipped over. You have your 69. If you live in time, you live at the foundation stone of death, of Satan. All right? You reject the true cornerstone, which is Jesus Christ. You reject it, just as the builders did. In your personal life, you have decided to be your own God. You flip it and you live under the Easter egg system. Your mind is corrupted and you see all these connections happen without any. You see the center is engaged. The false light is engaged. Knowledge, the soul, you see the cell of knowledge, the eye, the third eye is engaged. That then creates the current, the cycle, the idea, the return, the opinion, the idea that you have an opinion, as if your opinion matters. Let me explain this to you. Nothing you think matters unless it's the truth. Nothing you think matters unless it's the truth. You have a system then that is flipped and reversed at each stage, because this is a mirrored and flipped reality. So you must remember that current then changes. So it cycles back unto itself. It's a snake eating the tail, or the loop. You see that your higher numbers, your higher levels, are completely disengaged from the system. I've drawn pictures in so you see that the loop is actually only within the center plane, within the 8. You can see it's just a sideways 8. The others are in fact not 8s, they are double 7s. Because you are living within the 8, the double 7 idea of a reality. You turn on the TV, you believe there's a government out there. You give Rome everything instead of just its due. And the chief priests and the scribes the same hour sought to lay hands on him. And they feared the people, for they perceived that he had spoken this parable against them. And they watched him, and set forth spies, which would feign themselves just men, that they might take hold of his words, so that they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. And they asked him, saying, Master, may we know that thou sayest and teachest rightly, neither acceptest thou the person of any, but teachest the way of God truly? Is it lawful for us to give tribute unto Caesar or no? But he perceived their craftiness, and said unto them, Why tempt me? Show me a penny, whose image's superscription hath it? They answered and said, Caesar's. And he said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which be Caesar's, and unto God the things which be God's. And they could not take hold of his words before the people, and they marveled at his answer, and held their peace. So to recap, you enter this world, you decide on your own accord to live in this world, under its rules and regulations, under its stories and falsities. So yes, within this drawing I show you that yes, you can see the seal of Saturn, yes, you can see the 7s, you can see the 8s, you can see the entire 1 through 10 cycle. That's the 9-11 cycle, because you have the 6 and the 9 and the 2 spaces in the middle, and the 1 and the 1 on the outside. That's your 9-11 mind control system. That's what you are in if you watch TV at all, period. And let me explain that to you. That doesn't mean you can't watch a TV show or a movie, but you must understand that everything you just watch is make-believe. Don't then take that to your friends, people you call friends, and then lie to them and say, oh, I saw this, therefore it's real. No, just it's entertainment for you at that moment. Done. Be responsible. If you can't be responsible, don't watch TV. Don't read newspapers, because you can't handle the truth. Right? So you spread lies. Anyways, that's the fact. You turn into a beast yourself, and I've created a beast. I hope you like it. So when you go to these YouTube channels, you ask yourself a simple question. Who are they talking about? Are they talking about themselves? Forget about it. Unless it's just entertainment, move along. It is Jesus Christ who saves, period, through his grace alone. All the rest is gibberish. All the rest is gibberish. If they're telling you something other than that, and you're not there just for entertainment purposes, they're speaking gibberish. The only words you need to hear is that Jesus Christ saves, because then you are given the truth about everything. You don't need outside interference. You pray on a question that's in your mind. You pray to Jesus. You're given the Comforter. That supplies you the truth. And then you can share that truth and know that it's fact. Because I don't debate people on here. You know that for a fact. I'm not debating any of you people. I'm telling you something. If you walk away from me, fine. But if you say something different than what I'm telling you, you are in fact lying. So as you can see right there in the middle is your 88 system, i.e. your 9/11 system. Stay out of the 8s, stay out of the bushes, that whole routine, man. Anyways, Jesus Christ alone, through His grace alone, saved out of the system.